cold, where it still yipped for rescue. But it wasn't the cold that worried him. It was the storm cloud. It had leapt the coastal ridge in one bound, on high winds he couldn't feel. The ship had no reason to fear it, but Pazel did. People were trying to kill him, and the only thing stopping them was the moon, that blessed bonfire moon etching his shadow like a coal drawing on the deck of the Ennial. 1 more mile, he thought. Then it can pour for all I care. While the calm held, the Ennial ran quiet as a dream. Her captain hated needless bellowing, calling it the poor pilot's surrogate for leadership, and merely gestured to the afterguard when the time came to tack for shore. Glancing up at the mainsails, his eye fell on Pazel, and for a moment they regarded each other in silence. An old man, stiff and wrinkled as a cypress, a boy in tattered shirt and breeches, nut-brown hair in his eyes, clinging barefoot to the tarred and salt-stiffened ropes, a boy suddenly aware that he had no permission to climb aloft. Pazel made a show of checking the yardarm bolts and the knots on the closest stays. The captain watched his antics, unmoved. Then, almost invisibly, he shook his head. Pazel slid to the deck in an instant, furious with himself. "You clod, Pathkendle! Lose Nestef's love, and there's no hope for you." Captain Nestef was the kindest of the 5 mariners he had served, the only one who never beat or starved him, or forced him, a boy of 15, to drink the black nightmare liquor Grebel for the amusement of the crew. If Nestef had ordered him to dive into the sea, Pazel would have obeyed at once. He was a bonded servant and could be traded like a slave. On the deck, the other servant boys, tarboys they were called for the pitch that stained their hands and feet, turned him looks of contempt. They were older and larger, with noses proudly disfigured from brawls of honour in distant ports. The eldest, Jervik, sported a hole in his right ear large enough to pass a finger through. Rumour held that a violent captain had caught him stealing a pudding, and had pinched the ear with tongs heated cherry-red in the galley stove. The other rumour attached to Jervik was that he had stabbed a boy in the neck after losing at darts. Pazel didn't know if he believed the tale, but he knew that a gleam came to Jervik's eyes at the first sign of another's weakness, and he knew the boy carried a knife. One of Jervik's hangers-on gestured at Pazel with his chin.
"Thinks his place is on the maintop, this one," he said, grinning. "Bet you can tell him different, eh, Jervik?"
"Shut up, Nat. You ain't clever," said Jervik, his eyes locked on Pazel.
"What ho, Pazel Pathkendle! He's defending you!" laughed another. "Ain't you going to thank him? You better thank him."
Jervik turned the speaker a cold look. The laughter ceased. "I hadn't defended no one," said the larger boy.
"Course you didn't, Jervik. I just—"
"Somebody worries my mates, I defend them.
Defend my good name, too. But there's no defence for a wee squealing O'Malley."
The laughter was general now. Jervik had given permission. Then Pazel said, "Your mates and your good name. How about your honour, Jervik, and your word?"
"Them too,"
snapped Jervik. "And wet fire?"
"Eh?"
"Diving roosters? 4-legged ducks?" Jervik stared at Pazel for a moment. Then he glided over and hit him squarely on the cheek. "Brilliant reply, Jervik," said Pazel, standing his ground despite the fire along one side of his face. Jervik raised a corner of his shirt. Tucked into his breeches was a skipper's knife with a fine, well-worn leather grip.
"Want another sort of reply, do you?"
His face was inches from Pazel's own. His lips were stained red by low-grade sapwort. His eyes had a yellow tinge. "I want my knife back," said Pazel.
"Liar!" spat Jervik. "The knife's mine."
"That knife was my father's. You're a thief, and you don't dare use it." Jervik hit him again, harder.
"Put up your fists, mucketch," he said.
Pazel did not raise his fists.